Okay, welcome to the Soulpreneur Framework three-part series of video. This is the first video of the three segments that I will be sharing with any soul-led entrepreneurs who have a mission of transforming and awakening the world, who wants to grow their business. And there are three videos that I will be sharing, but this is a little longer one because I wanted to share a little bit of introduction of why I am creating this series, and also to anchor the layout, the structure of the video. So I have been on this spiritual path for a long time, and then I also have been in the online coaching space, and I have been exposed to different marketing strategies, being in different communities. And what I have found is that there are a lot of strategies that work, and all the marketers are talking about this is the best marketing strategy. But when we are coming from the soul-led, spiritually oriented perspective, the holistic view of the world, sometimes I had this sort of incongruency where I felt like I needed to sacrifice myself and my alignment with the soul in order to perform and become somebody else, in order to execute that strategy. In this video, a three-part series of video, is exactly for those who are feeling the same, or even anybody who is entering into this spiritual coaching, or energy healers, or soul-led any entrepreneurs who have this deep connection with the spiritual principles, the essence of who we are, and wants to learn a different kind of way to grow the online business. And one of the things that I want to share with anybody who's watching this, is that I had a resistance in the school system for the longest time. And I had this sort of knowing that going to school and then getting the information from the outside felt a little odd. And I always felt like why I needed to learn or memorize something that I wasn't interested in, right? And the whole structure, how most people are raised going to school, doesn't acknowledge, and it's not conducive to the unfoldment of the soul. And when we begin understanding the soul's journey and why we're here on this earth plane, and to remember who we are, and to remove all the layers of the false stories that we have learned through the programming and the conditioning, we come to realize that we want to operate the other way around. Education is to educare, to draw out from within. So it's about expanding the awareness of the mind to align with who we truly are. And that idea in the marketing and the growth of the business can actually merge. And this video series is for me to demonstrate that that is possible. And when you have that fully aligned business model of your calling and how you are showing up on social medias, or any publication to be exposed to the world, you will have a tremendous power and uncertainty and knowing, and your businesses will be soul-led and very intuitive. Yeah. So I'm going to share the three steps, because the Soulpreneur Framework that I'm presenting is anybody who is soul-led to really honor, your awakening process, to share that to the world, so you can use that gift to wake up the world. So let me share three things that many coaches, healers in the spiritual space sort of I see struggling, right? Now, many of them are struggling actually clarifying their offer, right? What they are actually here to do, and who they're supposed to be helping, and what the end goal is. Right. So I call that the sacred alignment. So that's going to be the first pillar that I'll be explaining in this video. Now, on the next video, the second thing that people I see struggling is the traffic, which is the lead generation, right? How to, at the beginning, when people get started, they do organically, right? They're not yet ready to use, pay advertising, which is fine. There are two ways to advertise yourself, either organic marketing or pay ads. People have a difficult time getting traction or being visible and getting the traffic. And I'm going to talk about the myth of the traffic. There's no such a thing as traffic problem. There's something underneath, which I'll be revealing on the second video. And the third pillar, the third segment of this is the energetics of money. Because when you have a traffic coming in, you still needs to be able to uh, influence the person to enroll or to purchase whatever that is that you're offering. And many people who are spiritually oriented tends to have a resistance and sort of fear-based relationship with money. So the third segment of this Soulpreneur framework is to change the relationship that you have with money and begin looking at the energetics of money from a different standpoint. So I want you to go through each video. This is the first video, and the second video and third video. And the way that I'm going to be putting this video together is that I'm going to share the understanding, the awareness of each topic. And then I'm going to finish each video with a mental exercise question that you can actually sit down and process and answer. And it's really important to go through this, sit down and answer that question. So this doesn't become another, information to consume, but for you to get something out of it and to have a micro transformation in this process. Yeah. So the first element is your sacred alignment. Yeah. So let's take a moment to think of or imagine your journey, right? You're doing what you're doing because maybe you had some sort of challenges in your life or obstacles, and that obviously enabled you to step into what you're doing, and then you feel called to help. And that's, the journey of the soul. And the problem that I see in the online marketing space is that they tend to not acknowledge, the soul's journey, and it comes from the outside in instead of inside out, right? So the analogy is that the tendency is that we tends to be encouraged to focus on the market needs, right? What people want in the outside. And that perspective is good if you just want to make money. Does that make sense? Because if you're a soul-led entrepreneur, of course, you want to circulate money and to have a financial growth, but that alone will never satisfy you or fulfill you, because that's how soul-led entrepreneurs think and operate, right? It needs to be in alignment. It needs to be something that gives you a harmony with the awakening process, right? So, and then the way in which we want to think is that the journey that you have taken and your gift that you have cultivated has a voice and the message to the world, right? That's where we want to begin, not what the market needs outside. That's where it comes last. Yeah. So the whole Soulpreneur framework operates from inside out instead of outside in. I hope this is, resonating with you, because when I started to realize that I need to flip that order, everything started to fall into place. And when things fall into place, it becomes easy, everything. So I hope that becomes an experience for you. So the inquiry that we want to have is, instead of looking at what people need or what the world wants, you ask yourself, including that path that you have taken, considering the journey that you have taken, who you are here to become. Yeah, that's the question I want to ask. Who are you called to become, right? Who are you being in this world? What is your identity, right? What is the role that you have? What is your mission? Yeah, those are the questions that we want to start with. And when you don't have that solid and explore and then begin deciding your offer or your modality or how you want to be helping people from the outside in, I see so many people getting distracted with all the information and not to execute any of all the distraction fully, because the foundation is being shaken. It's not solid, right? So what you want to do is to begin asking those questions. I'm going to lay out all the three questions at the end, but that is where we're going to come from. So we're going to flip from the outside into inside out. Yeah. And so there's no market needs that we need to focus on first, but you want to focus on your calling, right? And then instead of getting distracted with all the information, you actually want to tap into your voice based on that, the pain that you have experienced or the path that you have taken. Because 100% of the time, your avatar or your target audience is a past version of you. It cannot be otherwise if you understand the journey of the soul, because that's the reason that you have gone through what you have gone through in order to embrace that path by utilizing that experience to help others in the world. So it's very simple. We don't want to overcomplicate based on, the belief that you might have about yourself or what others are telling, but to make it simple. Now, another last piece of this, sacred alignment that is important is that we all are artists. And the life that we're living is the canvas that we're painting the arts. Now, your coaching, your healing work, your soulpreneur work is your arts, your voice, and your message to the world. So to come from that place and to begin cultivating, I want you to think of any singers that you like, right? They all have a voice. What I love so much about singers is that, the field and the industry of entertainment is very sophisticated in a sense that they are seeking their uniqueness. They're seeking their voice. Let's say, for instance, when you think of Michael Jackson or Celine Dion or any opera singers, right? None of them sings the same way, right? They have the song, they have the melody, but then they make it their song when they sing. And that's the attitudes that want to come from. What is your song? What is your voice that you're here to express? And begin polishing by understanding what that is, instead of thinking how the world wants you to sing your song. Does that make sense? When you look at and think of artists and singers, they never operate from the place that, oh, the world likes pop music, so I'm an opera singer, but I'm gonna sing about music, right? No, right? You have your calling, you have your expression, you have your unique voice that you're here to express. How can we align with that? And how can we begin cultivate with that? Because when you start polishing and make your art sophisticated, it's gonna move people. It's gonna touch people. That's another thing, right? People talk all kinds of like strategies or methods to market, but marketing is all about influencing somebody to take action, right? So your emotion in your voice and your story that you have lived, that authentic expression of who you are, the more you cultivate how to express and share that to the world, you can move people, you can touch people, you can reach somebody's hearts. And that's what we want to cultivate. Yeah. So that is the path to connect with your sacred alignment instead of coming from the outside in. So I want to leave the first video with 3 mental exercise questions that I want you to take a moment to sit down and answer. The first one is looking back your life story in the past story. What are the resistance that you have experienced? This is a question number 1. What are the resistance that you have experienced? Something that you didn't feel yourself fitting into the world, or something that, some sort of stories that you have lived or consequence that you encountered that was painful, right? Now, my example might be, so I have lived in 3 different continents. I'm originally from Tokyo, but I grew up in Peru, and I got exposed to, 2 different cultures, raised by artists, and I didn't feel like I belonged to any actually national identity because I woke up into the spiritual dimension at the early stage. So I was exploring, right? The invisible world felt like real for me, but I needed to connect the dots because the way that people are living in this physical world and the way that I felt like we're supposed to live, there was a huge gap. And exactly this is what I'm doing right now, right? The solo entrepreneurs, how we're supposed to be living and how the market is telling us to operate, there's a huge gap. I had a huge resistance in school system because it was outside in, but education, when we understand that soul is already full, needs to be inside out, means that how can we express more of who we are? Does that make sense? So a lot of the pain and resistance that I have gone through is manifesting, embracing in a way that I can help others to live differently, aligning with the spiritual essence. Now, question number 2. So what would be your one sentence song that you want to play? So for me right now, this is ever evolving, but I help soul-led entrepreneurs. This is my song, right? I help soul-led entrepreneurs on a mission of awakening the world to grow their business from a spiritual perspective. Yeah. And again, put numbers in there, right? If you wanna earn $5,000 per month, $10,000, $20,000 per month, that's all up to each individual. But the alignment and coming from the inside out and growing in a way that is spiritually aligned business is what matters. Many people in that business space assess and evaluate their business success based on the financial increase. For me, true success is alignment with the soul and to circulate the financial increase. So both needs to be met. You cannot just circulate and increase revenue and not being in alignment with it. So you want to feel whole and expansive and abundant inside and outside simultaneously. That is the true spiritual and material physical success for me. So I want you to come up with a one sentence song. That's the question number 2. And the last question is, what kind of business do you want to create? This is an interesting question. And when you answer that question, I don't want you to create any assumption based on the way that most people are creating. The question means that if you could build any business you wanted, how do you want your business to be? So you have a blank canvas and you can paint whatever you want. I want you to dream and then fantasize, because anything and everything that we believe becomes true in our life when we understand the universal law of cause and effect and the law of vibration and law of attraction. Then it's rather nonsense to let the existing model, how others are doing, restrict and limit the way that we want to create, right? What type of business do you want to create, right? What is it that you want to do more of? What is it that you want to do less of that you can delegate to others and begin constructing, right? How many hours do you want to be working? How much, how do you want to be feeling as you do each and every step? Do you want to be doing event, webinars? Do you want to be posting organically? Do you want to have a team, small team or big team? Do you want to earn this amount, all of those combined? I want you to take a moment to sit down and answer these questions from zero, from nothing, right? No information outside. What others are doing is irrelevant at this moment. You wanna ask yourself, if I could do anything I wanted, if I can build any business that suits my desire and excitement and joy, what kind of business do I want to be building? And entertaining that energy and idea is very important. So the first segment of the Soulpreneur Framework is to align with that sacred alignment of what you're here to do, who you're here to be, and what kind of business you want to be building. Yeah. The next video is going to be on the truth about visibility and traffic. And I'm going to be revealing a myth that many people are talking about. There's no such a thing as traffic or lead generation problem. There's something underneath. So see you in the next video.